March the 9th, 2023. Guys, quick look at and an update on the information we did in the video last night. But you're looking at current information now as we speak. This is 9:43 a.m. Central Time. California, you're under the gun. You know that you got that Pineapple Express headed your way. And I want to point out a few other things that have been updated this morning. But notice on the left side of this map, these areas here, all of this coloration, this light purple, these are gale warnings. Here, you've got storm warnings here. You've got winter storm warnings, in the higher elevations. And in the green, you've got flood watches. Now, the flooding is going to be the major problem. But it's going to dip south, pick up a lot of warm moisture. Two words, warmth and moisture. It's going to dump it into the higher elevations. A lot of that area has had up to 10 feet of snow in places. By the way, they have found 12 folks that did not make it through this so far, as they're kind of trying to dig into these areas. God bless their souls and their families. But what we're going to be dealing with is this warm moisture pounding on top of this snow at the higher elevations. Guys, is going to cause incredibly fast flash floods. Incredibly fast in huge amounts. We're going to look at that. Again, and of course, Booger runs in here and tells everyone to get out of the flood areas. That's his warning to you. He knows when I put these headphones on that he's got to speak up. I think sometimes he thinks that I have an alien creature on my head looking at these headphones. But anyway, everything is going to be pushing as across the east. Now, when we think about the storm hitting California, possibly that will be the worst area. But it's not going to stop there. We're going to have to pay attention to it as you see this area of dry area, in the Four Corners region here. Right there, that's going to change, and it's all pushing where? Right across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, this area. We're going to all of us get a taste of this before it's said and done with. Now, this is what's called the mid-level water vapor loop, and you can see even up along Oregon and Washington there, guys, you've got a system rotating offshore, continuously feeding that band itself, and some of that's being pulled off of this Pineapple Express. But notice this area here. It's going to mix with this moisture, and this is what's dipping south, and it's all coming together right here off the Central California coast. Notice you're already seeing moisture in the upper elevations here. Now, again, this is mid-level water vapor. You've got a low level, mid, and a high level. But that's what we're looking at now, and this is going to continue to push. It's overcast here in central Mississippi. It's been that way all day. But we could use some moisture here now. It's very getting dry, and the pollen is very strong, especially pine trees, things like that. So it will wash some of that out of the air and help folks that are suffering from that. But this mixture right here is going to be very dangerous because of the rapid melting of just the snow that's already there. And they're saying they don't think that, sometimes large amounts of snow, guys, can absorb the rain. You'll see where it's hitting it, but it's absorbed it. But they're saying there's so much rain involved in temperature changes that it's not going to be able to do that naturally. Switching to infrared, you can see where your moisture is. Right here, the red area, that's the strongest amount. You can see it also here in Oklahoma and over into Arkansas, guys, moving into that area and along the Pensacola area down to Fort Walton, Panama City right now, coming through there. I think you're getting ready for spring break. But it's going to be a rainy week. We may have a day dry there coming up, but it depends on how much of this pushes across the mountains. But the reservoir levels are up. Some are above historic highs for the date, not their historic all-time highs. You're at 830-something feet right now up in Orville, and I think your peak out at 900. But again, it's above the historical level. That further north may not get this as bad. We're just going to have to see. It depends on the snow you already have. You know that, and how much of this warm moisture gets put into your area. Now, we know Southern California's and Central California is going to be in trouble. Some people are afraid of, and they're warning about possible dams. Maybe not in maybe not Oroville, but some of the other areas. And guys, if you're there in California, especially, I guess in the Central Valley, where you do have a lot of lakes and things like that that you use to feed off into your agriculture, then let us know how that is fair and come into the comments. We can possibly find some information and put it back on YouTube, and so a lot of people can take advantage of the info that you have there on the ground, and they can prepare accordingly. Again, they're saying California at risk of life-threatening flooding from new atmospheric river. As the moisture-packed storm moves inland over the Golden State, it will carry warm air into higher elevations. This would lead to rapid snowmelt and create a dangerous flooding situation, and that's exactly what it's going to do. People are going to be caught off guard. We're going to read about it in the paper. Don't be one on that list. Saying this high-impact storm packed with moisture will drag warmer air behind it as it slams California late this week. AccuWeather warns that damaging and life-threatening floods and mudslides could occur. The heavy rain will threaten to wash away the snowpack on intermediate slopes rapidly, guys. If you're up there, think about that, and spread more snow over the highest elevations in addition to helping wipe out persistent drought conditions. The storm system will follow a couple of recent colder storms that unloaded several more feet of snow over the Sierra Nevada from last Saturday through early Wednesday. Okay, Booger, we hear you. While the warmer storm compared to the recent onslaught from Old Man Winter will seem comforting to some people, the problems the storm will cause may far outweigh the benefits. That's a key thing here. You got benefits, then they're going to be there with some drought relief, but it's not worth your life. It goes on to talk about there could be a potential for a foot of more rain released, like this constant river passing over you. Several inches are saying, says because above freezing temperatures are forecast in higher elevations, the several inches to a couple of feet of snow already on the ground in intermediate elevations from 2,500 to 5,000 feet may not fully absorb the rain and can completely melt instead. The equivalent of 8 to 12 inches of rain could be released in a matter of hours when accounting for the moisture already locked up in the snow and the incoming several inches of rain. That's 8 to 12 inches in a matter of hours. As this rapid runoff occurs, the smaller rivers and streams from the mountains and hills have the potential to lead to rapid flooding, which can create dangerous and damaging conditions for people, homes, businesses, and other structures in the path of the raging waters. And guys, if I'm not mistaken, some of the reports I've read is a lot of folks that have been trapped up there were on vacation, getting out for a week up in the mountains and ski or whatever, so they were not prepared with or they were not stocked up like you would be at home as far as food and water, things like that. Now, having said that, you guys that are there that can get this information, and from me and from mainstream media, as a matter of fact, but look around you, see, is there a stream coming down the mountain behind you? Are you real close to one? Is a bridge that could be washed out going to trap you in a certain area? Weigh all of that in your decisions. It says this, and you can look at the map here, it says Thursday night through Saturday, that's starting tonight, major flood risk, combination of rainfall and snowmelt, rapid rises on rivers and streams, debris flows, road closures, risk of roofs collapsing. You can see the darker area in this green that covers a large part of the mountain bases, looping from San Francisco back up north of Redding, all the way down into Southern California, right there. That's going to, I guess, it's where you've got your lower elevation snow that's not normal, that's going to melt very fast, but this is why there's a risk of the flooding in this area, because that's the runoff zones. You've got your reservoirs there also. It says a general 1 to 4 inches of rain will cause problems on area streets, highways, and rural roads. Incidents of urban flooding are likely in areas from near Santa Barbara to Redding. Motorists should be prepared for road hazards ranging from high water to falling rocks and mudslides. In some severe cases, stretches of roads could be washed away. The torrential rain and piles of snow laying at the edges of the area's streets and rural roads is likely to lead to flooding where the snow plows is pushed in vehicles. Where possible, road crews and property owners may want to open up the storm drains to minimize the flooding risk. Very good idea. Now, again, this is tonight through tomorrow night, Thursday through Friday night, and this is going to be from a lot of it from this Pineapple Express that's coming in off the Pacific Ocean. It says enough rain and melting snow will occur from the storm to create significant rises on the major rivers, including the Sacramento and the San Joaquin. Rain will fall much of the time at elevations from 5,000 to 7,500 feet. While the rain is not likely to wash away the snow at this elevation, it will add considerable weight to the existing snow cover, including the roofs. We've already seen one town, was it Crestview or Crestville, guys, that it had all the supermarkets and I think even like Napa or Advanced Auto Parts, a bunch of buildings that just collapsed the roof. Well, if the snow doesn't melt at this 5,000 to 7,500 foot elevations, it will add a tremendous amount of weight. Water is very, very heavy, much heavier than people think it is. They're saying this risk of street flooding and roof collapses include communities such as Tahoe City in California. While mostly rain will fall from the storm over the high ground along Interstate 5 into Northern California and even over Donner Pass along I-80 near Truckee, California, snow will pile up over the high country, starting at elevations near 7,500 feet and above. The potential exists for 2 to 4 feet to fall on top of snowpack that is over 100 inches in spots. Now, looking at this is where your heavy snowfall will be Thursday night into tomorrow night. Several feet of snow above 7,500 feet. This includes the areas south of Etna, Redding, Truckee, and between the Yosemite Valley and Mammoth Lakes. Then road closures, avalanche danger, stronger winds. Positive side would be more spring runoff as this higher elevation snow melts down into your rivers and your reservoirs and things like that. It says most of the storm's rain will avoid areas from the LA basin to San Diego, but enough shower activity can occur to make roads slick at times from Friday to Saturday. Because of the warmth involved from the storm, no snow will fall over the mountain passes in Southern California, including I-5, I-8, I-10, and I-15. Says considerable progress made in battle with long-term drought. And that's what we're just talking about on this drought monitor. This goes back 2 days, March 7th. Look at last year on October 4th. The red areas were from exceptional drought, extreme, severe, moderate, and abnormally dry. And this red area here, the exceptional and extreme, is going back to white. Again, this is a blessing. Maybe the politicians will be a little more careful on what they let drain out to balance for recreational needs. Think about agriculture. Again, here's an image of what we're dealing with, the steering winds, and you see that spinning off of Oregon, Washington, and the atmospheric river. What they're saying is the intensity, timing, and duration of the storm and the next atmospheric river are still being gauged by AccuWeather. However, the general timing for the heaviest rainfall is likely to be on Monday in the north, Monday night and Tuesday in the central counties, and Tuesday night in the southern parts of the state. The storm next week and any ensuing storms will continue to erase the remaining drought and lingering long-term rainfall deficits across the state. Now, that is definitely a long-term blessing. God is good, but right now, what's good is that you get the right information and know if you're in the path of some of these dangerous flooding and landslides, that type of stuff. So pay attention to it, guys. If you got friends and family in the area, as I always say, contact them now. If you can share this information, share it with them or just talk to them if that's all you can do. And try to transfer how desperate the situation can get very quickly if you're stuck on the side of a mountain or in an area where you can be trapped by a bridge going out. And landslides are unforgiving. We're watching this, by the way. There's a new video on Rumble about what's going on overseas. Check that out. I'll put a link below. It's a heads up. Be safe.